Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. A hugely important race happening in the Georgia 2nd Congressional District in November, one of the most watched in the country for Republicans because it is another one of those races where blue could flip red for the first time, in this case, in almost 30 years. For more, let's welcome back in former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates, an Air Force officer and Republican congressional nominee in the Georgia 2nd Congressional District, Chris West. Chris, good morning. Great to have you on. Rick, good to see you again.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
So, Chris, this reminds me of Myra Flores in Texas, this Georgia 2nd race here. So this is one of those really watched races. We saw redistricting there, but your opponent, who's been in Congress for 30 years, is outspending you 2-1. What's it going to take to win?
Well, I think that we are in a position, we are poised to win this race because people are tired of the high fuel and fertilizer prices. This is a heavy ag district. It's a heavy military-based district. And these folks recognize, what this administration is doing to our country, and they're ready for a change. So we're on the front line in the fight for freedom and liberty. And I think we're going to get this done. Myra's race was a little more difficult because the D+ number is a little higher out there for her. It's a little closer to a toss-up. So with some good favor, some fair wins, and some hard work, we're going to get this done.
Chris, I love watching races like yours because there is an opportunity here to finally take back a seat that's been held by a Democrat for almost 30 years. But what is your path to victory? What is the key issue specifically down in the 2nd District that either is similar to what's going on nationally or what you're going to look at? Because obviously election integrity is a big issue down there, but it hasn't really played out since the primaries.
Well, down here, Sanford Bishop, he's been there for 30 years. He has voted with Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi 100% of the time. So that means, he has voted with this for the Inflation Reduction Act, the 87,000 additional IRS agents. And because we have a high ag population down here, they are feeling it. They're feeling these high regulation and diesel fertilizer prices. So just the economy is the driving issue. And Bishop is going to own this economy because he's voted right along with the administration 100% of the time. And that's why I think we're going to win. That's why we're seeing the energy that's gotten behind our campaign.
Yeah, and your opponent is one of those Democrats that was swept in 1992 when Bill Clinton won and beat George H.W. Bush. But again, your district, and just for the folks at home, we're talking southwest Georgia, right on the Alabama border, but it's a really large district. How much do national polls play a role in a race like this? We've got Joe Biden now, according to Washington Post poll out a day ago, with a 39% approval rating. How much does that affect your race?
I don't know. I've wondered that how people can be, you look at the national wins and candidly just to see the direction that our country has gone. You wonder how anybody that's a fair-minded person could want to go along with the high prices that we're seeing, the inflation, the crushing economy on our workforce. So I don't know. I'd leave that to the professionals, but I can just tell you that my opponent has been right there with him to have caused all of this, and he owns it.
Rick, to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Chris, I was going to say on Sanford Bishop, are you seeing a divergence from him with Biden? He doesn't seem to be, embracing Joe Biden down there as much. I think he's worried about, his district and what Joe Biden represents. But how are you going to pull in? I think the victory is how are you going to pull in some of those kind of moderate Democrats and independents?
So because this is a heavy ag district, Sanford's firewall has been the farmers, and we formed a Farmers for West coalition that has just grown in numbers and strength that we never imagined. And these are folks who are independents, but they're farmers, they're ag folks, and they have joined our campaign in large numbers. And I think we're going to win this farm vote by 95%. A lot of those are Democrats. I had a Democrat county commission chairman endorse our campaign last week.
Right.
I had two Democrat farmers called me this past week that said, "Hey, we're both lifelong Democrats, but we just can't stand it anymore. Our farm businesses are getting killed, and we've got to go a different route. We've got to change something else." And my message has been, just try. Let's give me a shot. Let's see if we can do something else. If you're a lifelong Democrat, things haven't been working. At least give us a shot. And if it doesn't work, then switch us out in a couple of years.
Yeah,
But
Chris, I think there's a lot of people
that-
out there, a lot of voters that feel that way, not just in your district, but all across the country. We have a lot of candidates on Wake Up America, and I ask every one of them this question. In about 30 seconds, what's the biggest issue? The Democrats are trying to make this about climate change and abortion, as we heard repeatedly over the weekend. In your district, in rural Georgia, southwest Georgia, what's the biggest issue to voters?
It's the economy. It's the economy, and as well as crime because of an unsecure border that we have got to get under control. But you put those two together, and that's what's driving this race.
All right, Chris West, good luck to you. Thanks so much for joining us this
Check
morning.
us out at chriswestga.com.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping a close eye on your race. A lot of races like yours where we could see longtime seats that have been in the hands of Democrats turn to Republicans for the first time, in this case in 30 years. So good luck to you, Chris West. Thank you.
Thank you.